Hey everybody, Mojave Trooper here, back with another comparison video, and wishing you all very happy holidays. Today what I have for you is a comparison between the 7 Chambers Aniflex Elite and the TXQ Anakin Lightsaber. And I've been looking forward to this comparison video for a while now, because ever since it was determined that they use a TXQ Anakin as a prop for Ahsoka episodes 5, I think it was episode 4 and 5 actually. There's been a lot of speculation as to what they used, but it was finally determined, or at least it's still theorized, heavily theorized, that they used a TXQ Anakin for the show. And I've been very excited about that. When I first learned about that, I was like, yeah, I've got to get one right away. The 7 Chambers Aniflex Elite I've had for a while, but the TXQ Anakin, it came in around a month ago, and I did do an RPF thread, a comparison on it, but for those of us non-readers, I figured it would be better to do a comparison video showing you all the differences. The first difference that I want to talk about is the bunny ears. When it comes to the Aniflex Elite, you can see that the bunny ears here are more rounded. You can see that right there. When it comes to the TXQ, they are more flat, almost like a square shape. The next difference are the brass pins. So if you take a look at the Aniflex, the brass pins look a bit thinner and more accurate to what a Graflex, the brass pins on a Graflex would look like. When it comes to the TXQ, you can see they are a fair bit larger. They are thicker, but they also have that little base at the bottom. Another difference are the blade plugs. With the Aniflex Elite, since it's supposed to be accurate to the one they used in Revenge of the Sith, the brass pin right here in the blade plug, it's supposed to be a darker color. I'm not sure if that's because it's supposed to be tarnished brass, or that's just how they made it for the movie. But it has that dark color right there, and you can see it looks a bit more weathered, and that's because when I was trying to fit it in the hilt, I kind of messed it up. But honestly, I like it. I don't mind it at all. When it comes to the TXQ, it's just, I guess, a bit thicker, brass pin. It has a pattern here at the top. That's not present, from my knowledge, it's not present on a Graflex Flashgun either. But I guess TXQ went with that design choice. But if you've also noticed, the Aniflex Elite has kind of like a flange in the mouth of the emitter, and that's the blade plug right there. With the TXQ, it's just plainly flat. It's just a plainly flat acrylic blade plug. So I thought it was interesting. Another difference is the emitter shape. When it comes to the Aniflex Elite, you can see that this has more of a flat curve, kind of like the prop from Revenge of the Sith right here. When it comes to the TXQ, you can see it has more of an S curve. It's more of an S curve to it. Next difference are the buttons. When it comes to the Aniflex Elite, you can see they have more of a marbled or bakelite finish, similar to what you see in Revenge of the Sith. Oh yeah, they captured it really well right there. And same with the back button here. I call it a bakelite finish, but I think it's more of a marbled one. Kind of resemble tarnished copper, I guess. With the TXQ, you can see the buttons are a bit darker in color. They're more of a red. But they also have more of a metallic, shiny copper finish. I don't think this is real copper by any means. When I took it out, it looked like just anodized copper. Same with this one here. Next difference is the knurling section, or the knurl section. When it comes to the Aniflex Elite in Revenge of the Sith, of course, the clamp is fully chromed. Unlike the Master Prop, which has a brushed aluminum clamp, this is fully chromed. So you can see even this part here, the control box, and even the knurling section is chromed. All of it is chromed. When it comes to the TXQ, the knurling section is definitely not chrome. It looks more of a polished aluminum. And this is one of the reasons how it was determined that they use a TXQ in Ahsoka, is because the knurling section stood out from the rest of the body because it was polished aluminum. So that's pretty interesting. You can see that right there, side by side. The next difference is the control box. When it comes to Revenge of the Sith, if I can get it on camera here, you can see the clamp cart sits flush with the rest of the control box in the same level. When it comes to the TXQ, it doesn't. You can see it sits a little bit below. And the reason for that, I just think, is because when TXQ was making this hilt, they just needed something to, since these are the buttons right here.
Pixel number 482.
No, I just activated something. But this is how you turn it on. And I think that's just why. When it comes to the Aniflex Elite, it just uses these copper button, these buttons right here, the copper button and the glass eye. But the other difference that I want to talk about is the gold switch. Obviously, side by side, they look pretty similar. The TXQ one is maybe smaller. This one's a bit longer and has more of a gold finish. This one is more of a bright brass finish. But the other difference I wanted to talk about is the gold switch on the TXQ. Now, the version I have right here, it's the newer version that they're selling. When it comes to the TXQ, the one they use in Ahsoka, the one they used in Ahsoka had a much longer gold switch. So because of that, it was determined that they used a Gen 1 TXQ, and they thought this one was a Gen 2. However, that's not the truth, because the Gen 1 TXQ actually had a brushed aluminum clamp and control box as well. Both the one they used in Ahsoka and this one have a chrome one with a polished aluminum knurling section. So, but it couldn't be a Gen 1. But it was definitely, I a TXQ because of the features that we were talking about. But that's the only difference between this model right here and the one they used in Ahsoka, really. There's also a difference in the grips. When it comes to the Aniflex Elite, the grips are plastic, just hard plastic. When it comes to the TXQ, they are rubber, which personally I prefer hard plastic. The rubber ones, although they feel good, I just prefer the harder grips. But the other difference in that grip section, if you haven't noticed, is the cover tech wheel alignment. As you can see, it lines up pretty well with the Aniflex Elite, but it doesn't with the TXQ. The cover tech is actually supposed to be around here. And I mean, the reason for that is just because this TXQ Anakin hilt is just infamous for having, clocking issues in this part of the hilt. In Ahsoka, though, it's actually lined up correctly. We don't know why. Maybe like the one they got was lined up properly, or it was probably clocked, or maybe they just used some timing shims. But most of the ones I see on the market, people selling them or showing them off, they're just not lined up correctly. And the last difference I want to talk about, which is a big one that helped us determine that it was a TXQ that they used in Ahsoka, is the pommel. If you take a look at the Aniflex one, like I mentioned in my previous comparison video about this hilt, it has patterns right here. It has these circles, which are present in the Revenge of the Sith prop, or at least one of them. When it comes to the TXQ, it doesn't. It just has this little hole right here, but it doesn't have those circle patterns. It's just flat, and that's how it shows up in Ahsoka. Now you might be wondering, well, the 89 Saber not the 89 Sabers, the LGT Skinny Flex has also a flat pommel. Couldn't that be it? And the truth is no, because the LGT Skinny Flex doesn't have the same size as a gold switch here, and doesn't have the same buttons as a TXQ or how they show up in Ahsoka. The LGT one has just plain orange, I think anodized orange buttons, and they don't even look like copper. These ones, at least, they look metallic, but the LGT ones don't. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this comparison. I was trying to make it shorter than most ones I've done. And I mean, to be fair, I only have 2 hilts in this one. Previous ones I've had 4, maybe 5. But I try to make it short, simple, straight to the point. If you're wondering where to buy these hilts, the Aniflex Elite, of course, this one I bought from the original run by 7 Chambers. Though I believe the next run will happen through Phoenix Props. From what I hear, 7 Chambers is only moving to designing hilts now, and other distributors will be, making them. Other makers like Phoenix Props. I believe Phoenix Props is making the Aniflex Elite, and TXQ is making the Mama Wall Heroes. But from what I understand, Phoenix Props will be selling the next run of these, so I'd keep an eye out on that. The TXQ one, however, it's easier to get. This one you can get through a lot of TXQ resellers like CC Sabers. I believe All Sabers sells them too. This one I bought through CC Sabers, so Carl over at CC Sabers he has excellent customer service. It took a while to get to me, but that was just because DHL was having issues, at least in the China part. But I think TXQ also has an official store on AliExpress called X-T-Rex Saber, or X-Trax Saber, however you pronounce it. It's cheaper on AliExpress, but I just chose to buy one from CC Sabers. But anyways, I hope you found this comparison video interesting, and I hope you found these differences interesting. To me, you know, I'm always an Anakin fan, and the differences between the props will always interest me. I know there are people that don't really care. You know, as soon as you saw the thumbnail and title of this video, we're like, well, what the hell is the difference? You know, I thought he used the same one from Revenge of the Sith and Ahsoka, and you know, canonically yes, but prop wise no, and that's what I try to focus on. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Again, I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next comparison video.